Hey guys, it's Katy at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and this is week 2 of the Creative Design Team Love Your Stash Challenge. Now, during week 2, we are challenging you to use all your embellishments from your stash, and you can post your creations and use the hashtag CDT Love Your Stash. So I am starting off with a look at the embellishments that I'm going to pull. Now I have got some my accents from close to my heart. And when I say old, I mean old. And then I've also pulled out from my stash these two little bins that I have. Now, for the most part, these are sorted by color. And so that's going to make it really easy for me to pull here in just a second. Here is the other one. And you can see that the majority of this is close to my heart, some of it is not. And then the last thing that I've pulled is my case of bigger brads. And I used these on a layout or two a couple of weeks ago, so I loved that those were still on my table. So to prepare my base page, I'm starting off with a white daisy piece of cardstock and some Distress Oxide ink in peacock feathers and chipped sapphire. So I've just got one of our all-purpose mats and I've cut it into a smaller workable piece, and I am just turning those pads over on top of it and then spraying it with water. Now I'm going to use the packaging technique for this base page. And so I'm just picking up that ink and turning that packaging over onto my white daisy cardstock. Now, this cardstock is not prepped with any gesso or anything like that, so it'll warp a little bit, but not much. And then I always love to use up the rest of that just on a scratch piece of cardstock, and I can either use that for another layout or a card. And then I'm going to clean this up real quick and then let that dry really well before I start adhering all my pieces down. So it is dried, and you can see here that I've put that little cloud there, and I kind of want some more color behind it. So I am just using that peacock feathers and a mini blending tool to just kind of add some sponging around there. So now I am going to glue this little cloud and stars together. Now these Cricut cuts that I'm working with come from the Sweet Safari Cricut collection. It is a digital Cricut collection, and I'll leave the link down below for that collection as well as my design space file so you can use that. Now I did use all of the little leftover 3D foam tape to attach that cloud to that base, and it just kind of adds some dimension, and I love that that was 3 layers. So for my rainbow, I have just cut these little arcs using different pattern paper. All these pattern papers are current. They're not from my stash, but you can see that it's got a lot going on, but I am loving all the patterns and the brightness. They're going to work perfectly with my photos that I've chosen. So I'm just going to trim off those little arcs over to the side and then pull out all my embellishments. Now here are the photos that I'm going to use of my husband and our daughter, and I am going to use a flip flap on the right side of that photo. So I'm going to insert 2 of those 3x4 photos in there and then take off that little sticky strip to the flip flap and attach it directly to my layout base. Now there are a couple of ways that you can attach your flip flaps to your layout, but I prefer attaching it to my layout, and then I just cut my memory protector. And I do have a video on how to do that. I will try to remember to link that down below. So here I'm just going to pull from those embellishments, and I'm trying to keep it color coordinated with the rainbow arc, if that makes sense. I did do a similar layout last year with the blue skies, and it was more of a pie chart. And I just love the look of keeping the monochromatic colors together with those rainbow colors. So those sunglasses did come from a PML card that I just decided to just cut those off. And then again, I am just going to start pulling from the sticker sheets that I've pulled, as well as the brads. I even have some little badge buttons, some flags. I'm at a standpoint, so I decided to go ahead and add my journaling lines, and the inside of this rainbow is a perfect place to journal. So I am adding those with pencil so I can erase them once I journal in ink. And then I am going to add that green little flip or that green little tab to that flip flap so you'll know that you can flip it up. So for the most part, I am pretty happy. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing everything down. The majority of these things will be glued down with either glue dots, like you can see right there, those felt flowers, or liquid adhesive. Now these red, they were like um, open. They're not brads. They've got prongs on the back, but I love that they were open. I don't know if you remember them, but you just punch them through like a brad, and then I use my steel paper piercer to turn those little prongs to the inside. And then right here, I'm just going to add some brads by using my paper piercer to pre-poke a hole. Now I do have different brads. I have corduroy brads, I have button brads, I have regular brads. I even have some big brads. I'm really not sure where those came from. And then I'm also going to add various styles of glitter gems and sparkles. Now these are adhesive backed, but I am going to add some liquid glass just to make sure. They are really old, so I want to make sure that they stick really well. So you saw where I added the liquid glass directly to my pattern paper and then just came back really quickly and added those glitter gems. I'm going to do the same with the pink arc and the rainbow, as well as the blue and the green. Now, they are different types. These blue and green ones are a dome. They're called um, epoxy bubbles. Sorry about that. I had to check. Epoxy bubbles. And Close to My Heart did have them for a short while, but of course we don't carry them anymore. Now, these little stickers, I love them. I'm using an arrow up at the top and a heart down at the bottom. And then I've got these stickers that from the Brave line. Now, I definitely need some more accents or embellishments in the blue. And so I've chosen that little arrow. And then for the yellow one, I have decided to go ahead and just use the button and then that little smiley face badge button. Now, off camera, I did not like that arrow, so I've come back with a different kind of embellishment package and then added this wood circle with the heart in the middle. Now, for my title, I am just going to use these stickers, and I'm going to spell out BFFs. Simply because you can just see the elation on my daughter's face when my husband shows up to one of the games. And then, of course, he has to pick her up, throw her up in the air, and do all of that stuff. And they truly are just kind of the best of friends. And then I am going to add some shimmer to these stars using my Lemonade shimmer brush. I love our shimmer brushes because it just adds that extra little sparkle. And you'll be able to see that in the still shots. Now, I did decide that this layout just needed something around the outside of that red polka dot paper, and that paper is actually from the Sweet Safari as well. So I am using the February 2021 stamp of the month called Doodle Borders. And you can see here that those arrows just added that extra something that I know that that layout needed. So here are some close-ups, again, of all the embellishments from my stash that I used. And don't forget that we want you to play along with us. So grab your stash of embellishments, post your photos on Instagram or Facebook, and use the hashtag CDT for Creative Design Team, and then love your stash. Now don't forget, we are here all week and all month. And tomorrow you will be hearing from Carrie, and I have previewed her layout and you are going to love it. Tomorrow I'll leave a direct link to her. Otherwise, you can check out the links down below for all the products that I used, as well as the links to the other girls' channels.